are three foundations for leadership: integrity, respect, and duty. And duty means that you are committed for something a lot bigger than yourself. Whatever your purpose is has to be way bigger than you. So it's not only for you to have just a better life or a better house or a better job. It's for you to serve, like you're here to serve a community. You know, and that's a better goal than yourself. It's not only your family, but your community. The leadership functions, there are 4 leadership functions, and these functions are strategy, people, communication, and operation. And what does that mean? Strategy in very simple terms means what you apply to get to your goal. What's your plan to get to your goal? What steps are you going to follow to get to your goal? And to get to your goal, you need people, correct? Which is your team. How you're going to get to your goal or put a plan through people? You communicate with them. And your communication has to be a dialogue and has to be very clear and very transparent. And then you put the plan in operation. Do we get it? So it's 4. It's strategy, people, communication, and operation. Are we lost or are we okay? Okay. If you feel like something is like stuck, let me know. We can go back and we can repeat as many times as you want. Okay? The leadership principles, and these are more or less the principles that we talked about before, is the influence, the active listening, the priorities, conflict resolution, self-discipline, and it's basically what we did as an exercise earlier. There are 12 absolutes of leadership, meaning 12 must-have in leadership. And you can find that in your page 21, so you could follow. There is a great leadership researcher, his name is Bernison, right here. And he found out that there are absolutes. Absolutes are basically building blocks. Meaning, like, you know, when you have a Lego system, when you put like pieces together to form a building or a truck or whatever, you know, this is what the absolutes means, that you have to build a block over a block over a block over a block, and he put it in a triangle shape. So you have to lead, to learn, to listen. 3 L's. Lead, learn, listen. You have to anticipate and navigate, and then these are the steps. So the first thing that you have to do is to lead. In order for you to be a leader, you have to have the capability of leading people, of convincing people, of motivating people, of influencing people. And then you have to listen properly. And in communication, we're going to go through what is the difference between hearing, listening, and active listening. Hearing, I can hear that thing, that machine outside. But does it make sense to me? I'm not really registering, but I can hear a noise. Listen is like when you are talking to me, I can hear you, I can get few words, but not everything. Active listening is when I'm actually concentrating in everything you say. To be a good leader, you have to be a very good listener, an active listener. So learn, no matter how far we go, no matter how big we get, we always can learn every single day something new. No matter where we, like every single class that I do, either here for BNLP or outside, I learn something new. And I'm grateful and I'm very humbled by whatever I learn every single day. I'm never too big to learn. And no one is too big to learn. Just like we all are in this life to learn every single day. And I can learn from a child, and I can learn from an older person. Believe it or not, children sometimes can teach you something in the way they react or act. So be open to learning. Communicate, we talked about that. Have a purpose, have a goal that you want to achieve, and then have the strategy or the planning to do it. Measure it, always measure. We say what you can't measure cannot be done. Meaning if you cannot measure something or your effect on people, or for example, you are going to measure how far you went at the end of the class by the completion of your project. You're going to measure how good you have done as a team. And then reward, anticipate. Anticipate meaning like wait for things or thinks about things or vision things that are going to happen so you can build your actions and reactions to it. And then navigate. Navigate means like you sail into the water. You take it as it comes. You know, but you have to be prepared. Your sails have to be there, you know, to make sure that you are navigating the right way. Any questions so far? I see some blank stares.
Makes sense.
Huh?
Makes sense.
Make sense? Okay. 7 must-know principles. Leadership comes in all sizes, colors, and ages, and genders. I mean, a leader can be anyone in this life. Anyone. A true leader is committed and accepts responsibility. It works at being a leader, meaning you're not just to say, okay, I'm a leader, great. You know, but you need to work every single day as a leader. You cannot be a leader today, oh, tomorrow, I don't feel like it. Being a leader is being consistent. You cannot lead in good times, and then when it starts getting rocky, or the water gets like really violent, you say, oh, I don't want to be a leader anymore. You cannot do that. It's about being consistent. It's about learning every day. It's about developing your skills every single day. We cannot say, oh, I'm a leader already. I don't need anything else. And you know what? It's the last class that we had a lovely, lovely person that was in the class, and they said, you know what? I'm already a leader at home. I'm already a leader in my community. Why do I need to be here? So I told her, actually, you know what? The answer lies in you, not in us. And by the end of the class, she was totally transformed. She came and she said, now I know why I am here. Now I know how different I am. That class took her totally out of her cocoon. She was like in a cocoon small community that she never went out of. And with that class, she really, and she's one of the best volunteers in everything now. You know, it's amazing that in the beginning she was a little bit apprehensive about what she can learn from the class. You know, and we told just sit down, relax, go with the flow, and you will see at the end. And she's one of the most really active participants in anything that has to do with BNLP, either on Facebook or volunteering or if we need help or whatever. She's always there, right? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So leader starts at the top. Best achieve developing team atmosphere. Every situation calls for a different attitude and behavior. You cannot act the same way in every single situation, can you? Sometimes you need to be, we have a saying that says you have to be in Egypt. We have a saying that says if you are a tree, you need to go with the wind, like this or like that. You cannot be too flexible because you're going to break, and you cannot be too hard because you're going to break. But you have to be flexible enough with the speed and with the power of wind that goes back and forth. So you need, every single situation demands a specific action. Leaders are respected for what the past accomplishments are. Like we said, a reputation cannot be built on what you're going to do, but a reputation is built on what you have already accomplished or what you are accomplished right now. That's why when you go to work or apply for a job, they ask you for your resume or your portfolio, because this is to show your expertise, that you already have done that. You have been there, you have done that. And that's the difference. So reputation is built on what you have done, not necessarily on what's coming. Leaders seek opinion and combine ideas, meaning like if I want to do something, like when we're going to start the project, you will see that we're going to ask each one of you, what do you think can be done? And we're going to narrow it down, and we're going to take votes, and we're going to discuss, and even argue, why should we do this and not do that? And you know what? Each one of you can come up with a project, but it will be only one project that we will all have together, come together and work with it, no matter even if it wasn't the project that we choose. but as a spirit of a team and a spirit of being a good leader in the community, we're going to all get together and build that project. Okay? True or false? A person cannot be a born leader. Leaders are cultivated. Is that right or wrong? Are leaders born or made?
Both.
Oh, well.
Both.
Both.
Well, it's false because it's not only made. Born leaders are charismatic leaders, but also I can be born as a leader, but if I did not develop my leadership skills, I will not be a good leader. But you cannot have someone that has, you can teach someone leadership as much or as long as you want. If they don't have it within themselves, there is no way they're going to become a good leader. No matter how many certificates or how many degrees they have in leadership. If they don't have it from inside, they will never be a good leader. That's the charismatic leader that we talked about earlier, and it means a gift of grace. And basically, charismatic leaders are role model. They care, they have respect that keeps the bar high, and people just are attracted to them like a magnet. When you are in a position of leadership, you must no longer consult with each other. Is that true or false?
False. False.
Absolutely. We talked about that. We talked about autocratic, right? Autocratic decision making is the fastest way to fail. There are different types of leaders, and we're going to go through that, and there are 4 main types of leaders, and there are 4 main types of team members. They are divided into 4 types. There is, and it's 4 C's. It's the contributor, collaborator, challenger, and communicator. And this you can find, if you want to follow, in page 23. The contributor, which is the doer is basically have very good quality of work. They work by priorities, and they expect high performance. And if something is not done, they will just get their hands dirty and they will just do it. But one of the cons or one of the weaknesses of the doer is that they cannot deal with uncertainty. Meaning if they're not sure that this is going to happen, they start to panic. Or they start to lose concentration or focus. And what that means, that can take away a little bit of their confidence. Meaning they want to make sure that everything is going to do good, and that's why they do to follow a path to achieve a certain goal. But the positive of it is that they are very good at showing their teams that, you know what, unlike you, I do whatever you want me to do. I do it. My hand is in there. I walk the talk and I talk the walk. So there are pluses and minuses. And I'm going to say at the end why we say the pluses and minuses. And then we have the visionary. The visionary is the collaborator, the ones that put everybody together and start talking to each other and gather ideas. And when you gather ideas, you collaborate people together. And when you collaborate them together, people feel good because, oh my God, my opinion counts. Someone is asking me how I feel. Someone is asking me what my opinion is. I'm part of the solution. I'm part of whatever is going on. And this is something that huge corporations are missing, and it's very, very simple. It's just to make people feel as human beings. That's the simplest thing there is, and a lot of corporations are missing that. But once you make people feel that they count, that their opinion counts, and they're great about it, they're going to feel better and you're going to have a lot better results. The only thing that might be against the collaborative leader is maybe they find that they care too much about the lovey-dovey feelings or about the touchy feeling, and they kind of miss some of the principles of some of the operational steps in achieving a project. So, and then we have the bot rocker, which is the challenger. Challenger is like whenever you say something, it's like, why? How come? What? When? It's like no matter what you say, they have a comeback. No matter what you say, they have a reason why it can be done. It can be good because it can actually widen your horizon. You can start thinking about things that you didn't think about before. It can open ideas for you that you never thought about. But it can also be very disruptive to the team if someone is just doing that because it's their personality and they're negative people. So there are, again, the pros and the cons. And the last one is the feeler or communicator. And it's the one that basically will communicate, and they can lose a lot of time just communicating rather than getting ready with strategy and plans. And why we say that every single one of them has pros and cons or goods and bads? Because there is no one perfect. And a smart leader is the leader that will know their weaknesses and their strengths. And when they know their weaknesses, they know how to gather a team around them and use the best strength in these people that will cover their weaknesses. Again, it's about a team. It's about there is no I in team. So it's about getting together and for the better good or for the bigger good of things, humanity, community, whatever you want to say. Okay? Any questions? Please.
Would you say that some great leaders have all four types in their personality at different times?
Or two. All of us have 1, 2, 3, or even 4. It depends on what's dominant and what's not.
Does it also depend upon the situation?
It can depend on the situation, but it also depends on our own development of skills. We might not feel comfortable with showing feelings as a leader. And there are a lot of people that, yes, feel others, but are not comfortable in showing their feelings. Depending on the culture, remember there are cultures where they feel like the males cannot show feelings. It's not being macho, but it's like the kind where a man has to be strong, they cannot cry, they cannot show feelings, So it really depends on cultures, And again, it depends on how you developed your own feelings or how you develop your own characters and traits. And yes, you can be all of the 4 of them, but you always, as people, we always have one dominant character than the other. And if you know which one you are dominant and which one you're not, this is your challenge to develop your weaknesses. Or to have people around you that show that weakness. Make sense? Yes? You're just agreeing with me or it makes sense?
No, it does make sense.
Okay.